To talk to us more about this now, we're joined by Imtiaz Gul, who's Executive Director at the Center for Research and Security Studies. He's live from Islamabad. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Gul. Are these forced repatriations by the Pakistani government of these Afghan refugees justified?
Well, justified only to the extent that every country does need to document all the people, whether local or aliens, living in that country for the sake of planning. Now, we are talking here of over 1 million people who have been overstaying their visas in Pakistan or who did not have any document at all. Pakistan initially had used the excuse of security, of the mounting insecurity in the country, and tried to justify that. But merely by deporting such people, you cannot ensure security. We have seen this. And I don't see a real justification for deporting people in haste, without consultation, without due process, without giving any deadline, because this process, particularly for asking those people who possess either the proof of residence or the Afghan citizenship card, this has happened with the support of the International Organization for Migration and the United Nations, and Pakistan cannot do or should not be doing the deportation or sending people back without asking and consulting these two international organizations beforehand.
Right. So then you believe there's no genuine security concern with these refugees?
I mean, you cannot link the security with the refugees or with all those people who have been living here illegally. You know, we have to drive a distinction between the Afghan refugees. They had the Afghan refugee card, either the proof of residence or the Afghan citizenship card. But then there are people who did not, who either came like 2 years ago on the visitor visa and then stayed on without getting it renewed, or who did not have any visa at all, or who came on fake, spurious travel documents. So this is what Pakistan government has been trying to do, and I think even the United Nations had no objection to that. The objection is to the modus operandi, the way it is being done.
Right. And as we heard from our correspondent briefly, sir, many of the returnees are second or third generation Afghans who've never lived in Afghanistan. And I imagine there are no provisions for by Afghan authorities when they return to Afghanistan.
Well, I think in some cases it should be true, the second or third generation, but I think these second or third generation people, the majority of them, do have a means to stay on in the country. A lot of them are doing businesses. A lot of them are studying at education institutions, universities, colleges. So the problem is a misgovernance, very hasty steps that are taken, which basically provide an excuse to the authorities, to the police, to rough up some of the people. Also, I think, trample human rights in some cases. So that is where I think the problem begins, when you allow the officials to just apply a broad brush to people, outsiders, to Afghans living in Pakistan, without doing due diligence and the due process.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Thank you for your insight. Imtiaz Gul, Executive Director at the Center for Research and Security Studies in Islamabad.